All right now. We live.
All right, let
So
me
it should
see.
be the popped up. Mm-hmm.
It ain't doing on mine yet. Let's see. I'm looking on, it's on your page, right?
Yeah, it should be them popped up by now. Yeah, it's just gave me a notification. So it should be um
Not yet.
the popped up
Okay,
by
yeah,
now.
that's it.
Okay. All right now. There we go. I'm gonna wait like probably about 2 minutes and we're gonna get started.
All right.
All right now. Come on in. It's your girl Shay. Come on in. Thank y'all for tuning in. I see y'all popping on in. I appreciate that. Come on in. It's going down. Hey y'all. Holla at your girl. And let me know who in here so far and where you at. It's that girl Shay. All right now. How y'all doing tonight? Thank y'all for tuning in, seeing what's going on, seeing what we talking about. It's going down. It's going down. Like 1 more minute, we're gonna get started. Hey y'all, come on in to the self-love journey. All right now. 1 more minute, we're gonna get started. We ain't gonna wait, y'all.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Hey, hey, Mama Riri. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming. Love you. All right, now it's 2 minutes in. Okay. Welcome to the Self Love Journey Conversations with Shei Atkins, where we learn how to have a healthy relationship with ourselves. This is episode 27. And tonight I have Charles Dixon on here. And the crazy thing is, let me see, I don't know if this was a year ago. About
Yeah.
a year ago, I'm thinking a year ago, when I finally had the courage to share my testimony about the other woman. Love you too. God put it in my spirit to talk about it because y'all, I had disappeared I was gone for like 6 years, and so I finally came out, and I was ready, to turn my heart back to God and take my gifts off the shelf and just dust myself off and share my journey. So God put it in my heart to talk about the other woman, and I'm like, hold on, who other woman would? Not me. I'm not going to talk about this. But I was free from that. So we got to turn our mess into a message. And so I talked about it. I did a video on it, and Charles Dixon saw it, and he messaged me. He was like, "Come on my show and talk about it." I'm like, I ain't no speaker. Because he had to ask me a few times. I'm like, no, I'm just doing what the Lord told me to do.
Right.
I'm not no speaker. I don't even know if I can repeat what I just did on that video. But he's like, you can do it.
Yeah.
People need to hear your testimony. And so I really enjoyed the dialogue of interviewing with Charles on his show, talking about the other woman. And I just put all my dirt out there because I know that it can help people. Like if you value God and you value monogamy, it's really a message that can kind of shake you up if you kind of in that position or in that predicament. And so I've been telling the story because, hey, AJ, I have a new book I called Before You Have That Affair. And
Hmm.
so I'm talking about 4 ways to protect your relationship. And so I've been talking about that for the past few weeks. But, I want a male perspective,
Yeah.
on the topic of just cheating and the other man and the other woman because it's real out here. And, it's hard to find a man that ain't caught up
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
middle of something. You
Yeah.
take a lot of courage to come on here and talk about
I'm talking about
cheating,
this. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
because somebody either in it, the other man or got the other woman. So I've been
So,
telling my story, but go ahead.
yeah, so this is how I look at it from perspective of the affair. So pretty much if you think about it, we live in the era where it's all about permission. So affairs is kind of phasing out because people are so heavy on. I mean, let's just say somebody's husband approach you and he's like trying to get at you, and you like, but aren't you married? She already understands. She know. It becomes that. And so now what's happening is honesty has become the new deceit. So that's how we're flipping it. Now
Wow.
we're approaching you
Wow.
honest, but it's deceit, because even though we're being honest, we still are with we got a woman, we got a wife, fiance, whatever you call it, somebody that live at the house or whatever. But we come to you like, I'm being honest, so we can take that piece off the table. So I'm just letting you know up front what's in my back pocket, so you don't have to trip. It's just be about you and me. So that's pretty much what's happening nowadays. Heck,
But you know
women,
what?
yeah,
The crazy thing is that a lot of people know that you have somebody. You don't even have to lie,
yeah, yeah.
anymore. People know that you have somebody, And I think it's important to let from a female perspective, being in it, I cheated, I done had the other man, and I've been the other woman. And these songs promoting and making it look like it's good. It's
Fun
more
to do
cracked up, than it
it.
is. But actually having lived through that, and my reason for doing it, it really never end well.
Yeah, never.
What you think about? Do you have any experience
Never.
with
Yes, I have some experience.
uh
Plural. But anyway, no, so listen, I have been heck, I have been the cheater for certain, right? And I have been
mm,
that person who you could be, and I'm going to get into the backdrop of why that occurs in my world, but I'm going to tell you. So you
okay.
get into it, and it's like initially you do it because you kind of this is what I think people forget about when it comes to cheating. Some
Okay.
just like you see, just like all of us have a friend that may drink too much, or somebody that we may deem an alcoholic. Now the person is a nice person, and you may say that person is a good. Now they're good peoples, but they drink too much. So it's
Yeah.
just the same thing. It's on the opposite side when it comes to the person who's the cheater. Maybe they're a good friend of yours, but you may say, "But she always messing with somebody's husband." But see, the
Oh,
point is,
wow.
the point is this: um, typically people there's an ailment that's going on. And so what's happening is that person is choosing either the drinking or the sex to cope. That's their coping. That's
Yeah.
their medicine as to acting
Yeah.
it out. It may not be that they're to the core a bad person. It's just sometimes people they have so many other things going on. It's like they find safety in controlling their sexual interactions. It's like that
And y'all feel free to
promiscuity.
ask him some
Yeah, for
questions.
sure. Yeah, that promiscuity offers you some sort of, you got the power. It's like, if nobody got my heart, I'm dealing with this the way I want to deal with it. If I want to see you, I don't. If I want to see you, I won't. I will, whatever. But I'm in control of this, and no one has my emotions in jeopardy, right? And so people tend to
Mm-hmm.
be like, I'm gonna do me. That's that term. I'm gonna do me out here.
Yeah.
But here's the flip side. None of us are robots, so we still have feelings, emotions, and it's not too many times you can lay down with somebody. And I don't care if you get up with a straight face and walk out or not. Emotionally, you taking something out that door with you, because it's you
Mm-hmm.
interacting spiritually, especially more so the woman, because he's the depositor, right? He's the
Mm-hmm.
depositor, so she's taking it. And it's like internally, she may not understand why she's taking on these different personalities or attitudes, but it's a blending of spirits happening. And so even with the men, it's like a man can he can go out here and be just all over the place, but his woman or his wife can detect it. Because although he may think he's
Yeah.
dotting all his I's, and I
Yeah.
got
Yeah. Yeah.
I got my burner phone in the car, all those things like that. It's a spirit thing that you can look at your person and
Yeah.
tell
You can feel it.
off. It's an offness going on, and you're like, this person isn't responding the same. They're not looking at me the same. I feel like they have a certain amount of guilt, so it's different. So you kind of wondering, like, what's up with that? But this is the time that we living in. Like you said, it's really bad, but it's bad that we have come to a place. It's like now we expect. I heard someone tell me once, I was dating a person some time ago, and I remember them saying to me that they was discussing who they were dating with their mother, and their mother said to them, "Well, girl, with this kind of man, just already expect that you number 3 or 4." That's exactly
Wow.
what the mother told her. That she said, basically, this kind of guy, he's in the forefront, he's in this, and he's in the spotlight. You're not going to be his number 1, so just expect to be number 4. And I was like, well, what does that tell somebody, whether it's true or not? That's not a
Wow.
narrative to spin because that just makes someone automatically come out the gate settling, right?
Yeah, we done became numb to it.
For sure, and that's what it is. It's like so nowadays. It's just like people will come to you, like you said, they'll come to you and they'll be honest and tell you what they're trying to do, tell you look nice and this, that, and other. But at the end of the day, it's still deceitful. They still have
Wow.
someone. They still just want to roll with you or just have you on tap for when they want to see you. That sort of thing. And
Yeah.
maybe there's an exchange. Maybe he's giving you something, which is popular. He paying my note. He paying my car note. He's doing this. So that's your justification for the act. It doesn't make it better, but we come up
Yeah,
with our
you're right. You're
yeah,
right. You're right.
yeah,
He paying this, he giving me money.
yeah. So
It's
that's the
sad that
reason.
fidelity isn't the standard. It really
Yeah,
is. But
yeah,
some
it's
kind
not.
of package option. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
true.
But we feel like faithful men are hard to find. What do you
Yeah.
think about like did you have a defining moment when it came to
Well,
cheat? Like, you know
well,
what?
so
Do you value monogamy?
so let me tell you this. I really can say this, and I'm going to stretch out on a limb. But anyway, I'll say that
Uh-oh.
I feel like I sort of ran things. I ran, how sometimes you see at the auto plant, the Ford auto plant, how they have that crash dummy site where the car
Mm-hmm.
they purposely crash it into the wall and they got the dummy sitting in there. I feel like to a degree, I allowed my life to get to that where I had to, in moving in that space of infidelity, I had to keep on bam until finally it was just like, sometimes you roll up on the wrong person and it
Uh-oh.
doesn't be the type of person that you think you can jump in and jump out.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get connected, and before you know it, you really are connected. And next thing you know,
Mm-hmm.
all things about you are shifting and changing, and you like, wait a minute, I don't feel like I have control no more. And then not
Oh.
only it's not just that, but sometimes you can entertain somebody that will change your entire life, like meaning for the worse. Like, I mean, for the
Mm.
absolute worst. And here you were thinking you were being the manipulator, but you were actually being
Mm.
manipulated. So you
So
have
that
your
happened to you?
oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like you come in because let's just be honest, us men, we justify our reasons for being curious in specific situations. And women will say this. You'll find women will say something like this. Why'd you pick her? You could have picked somebody look such and such than her. She don't seem like your type. But rest assured, something about the person captivated him. You may not understand it, but it was something. Whether he thought she was wifey or interim, it was something that he thought was interesting about her, right? So he felt like it was worth his risk. The problem is sometimes when men do that, we think that we can take the act, make you understand, be honest, and then pull back, and we don't want to hear your mouth no more,
Right,
right?
right, right.
We think we can tell you what it is and move back, and then sometimes
Uh-uh.
it's not as easy. it's, it's okay. It's okay. It's Friday night, but it's not as easy as that, right?
Don't come over here no more.
So
Yo.
yeah, it's okay. It's not as easy as that. It's just sometimes it's like you get intertwined and God will teach you that you're not going to be able well, put it like this, because of what I invested in you, you're not going to be able to continue to move like this without recourse. Right. And so
Mm-hmm.
give me some recourse so that I can kind of think about it differently and just sort of be like, look, you can't be in this space and continue to move like this and think it's going to be okay. And so I had to rethink, and he placed me into a space of separation so that I could really get it. You know what I'm saying? And so I
Mm.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Cause see, for me, y'all know my story, but when I was married, when it came to that place, my ex-husband was my first. I never thought that I would ever,
Straight.
cheat.
Go
And
on, get it
so,
out. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead. No, I'm just teasing.
no,
I'm teasing.
I never thought it, but I think it's important for us to, have self-love and to have our standards and to have, never let a person break you, to where you feel like this is what you're gonna turn to now, to numb or to feel better, because it's not going anywhere. Because I'm the type of person, I love love.
Yeah.
I love love. I don't like the game. The game is not for me. um, you're just a number. You're just a body.
Yeah.
And I don't like being just a body. I want real love. And so if you want real love and you love, that's not going that's not
Right.
the way to go, because you get used up and on to the next. That's a game for people who've learned to turn their hearts off.
Yeah.
You got
And
to turn you have to turn your
yeah,
heart off in order to.
to play that kind of game.
What
And
about you? What you think?
but here's the thing: you got to think about it from this angle. Is you'll never find a situation. There's no such thing as entering into something dirty and thinking you're going to remain clean or get a clean outcome. Think about how many
Yeah, I
times.
like that.
Think about how many times you have maybe not you per se, but people have entertained with either someone's man or someone's woman, or whether they were married or not, and then you turn in your mind, you got so involved that you have now X their person that belonged there before you out and made it now about the wishes that you had for that person. You're saying,
Wow.
I know that he tells me that this person doesn't do so good by him, so I know that sooner or later he's gonna leave her and be with me. Biggest lie ever. Here's the thing:
Wow.
once you allow a man to practice deceit on you, that's his
Wow.
profession. He's not trying to change it for good. Such and such person is allowing me to practice deceit, and that's where I place the
Wow.
deceit bucket. Because think about it like this:
Wow.
if he has a
Not
wife,
the deceit
4 or 5
bucket.
kids at home, and he know you at Vegas with him, you at hotels for weeks, going all over around the country, even if he's paying you money or not, you're doing all these things, but then you expect him to say, well, certainly he's going to look at me and say, certainly he's going to look at me and say, I'm the best woman in the world. No, he's going to say, you the trick of the century, because you thinking I'm going to believe you after you laid with my lie. So you understand? You
Wow.
got to look at it
Wow.
that way. He's not going to. People get deceived by this, and we tell. And this is on both sides. I'm just the man talking from the woman,
Yeah.
but on both sides, people tell one another these stories to make people stay. They have to give you a narrative to stay or to play along.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
it. You're not going to say, "Oh, I love my wife. Me and her went to breakfast this morning. That woman, I love her so much." Now go to the hotel. I'll meet you over there in 10 minutes. You ain't gonna want to do it now, because now you're like,
Yeah.
well, go back home with her if you love her that much. But
Yeah.
we tell you, I keep telling her I want to have sex, and she says she don't like oral sex, and she don't do all these things.
Right. Right. Now you want to be the one.
So you want to say, well, I can do all of those things you said she don't do. Well, guess what? She do them. He just likes it in excess. He wants it from you.
Wow.
So you got to look at it
Wow.
like that. We got to start looking at these stories as what they are. It's just raw, but you have to be able to accept it that way. And we don't
So
like
you
to.
say you did your thing or whatever.
Yeah,
What was it that you were trying to?
pull off.
What just were you like? For me, I was trying to numb. I felt like the lowest of low. Looking for love in all the wrong places, naive.
Yeah.
But what was your thing? What was going on in your
Right.
mind that made it
So
okay for you to?
yeah, to
What was
move
you
like that, right?
lying to yourself
So
saying?
for me, this is how I look at it. And I said this story before. So for me, I started out very, very intentional in relationships, right? Very intentional about it. I was like in these long-term relationships, and I was, we're gonna do this and we're serious. And it always seemed like the more serious I was, the more taken for granted I was. It's like it was almost it made me feel like they didn't believe you were supposed to exist that way. You have to have some sort of dirt to you. You just can't be decent and nice. Where's your dirt? You ain't punched me in the face yet. Where's your side woman at? Where's your wife? Where's all these things? And so after a while, it just it irritated me to be decent at that time, but then get treated not cool. So for me, it's like, you go through your hurt, your deceits. And for men, when you stick us good, the next 10 years is a volcano. Because we going,
Mm-mm.
we going like everything in our path is just a wake of trouble and trash.
Mm-mm.
Just trash in
Mm-mm.
the world. Because once a man gets hurt, he's struggling to find his So now all of his inadequacies are exposed. So now he's moving to find a place of adequacy, trying to be content with himself as a man. So he has to do that by, in his mind, he's justifying it by having all of these victories with women. Victories meaning I met you, I got you. I met you, I got you.
Wow, another victory.
And it makes you subliminally in your mind, you're thinking, yeah, I knew this is what I deserved. So, because and here's another thing of news flash for some women. For some reason, when a man, this also baffled me. When I was at my most lowest state integrity wise, I felt like that's when I was the most loved. Oh, please come, I need you to do this. And they knew you were dirty, but it was something about you being dirty. And I think women, the natural state of women are to reciprocate and to compliment a man. Like, I don't mean his looks, but compliment him in terms of who she is versus his purpose. I think women try to think they can fix men and clean and do this, that, and the other. And so sometimes it's just when a man is in his way, that's who he is. That's just who he is in that moment.
That's who he is.
Falls out of it. There's nothing you can do. You can't fix him enough breakfast and enough of his clothes is going to change that. That's who he is internally until he evolves out of it. And so for me, I had to get to a space where I was just like, you kind of get tired of going to the same show week after week. Meaning, you start your stuff, you get connected. Here comes the explosion. Here comes the upset person over here. Here comes the person crying over there. Here comes the resentment for a long time. And so it's hard to rebuild relationships once you have broken them. It's very hard, unless
that's true.
Really tied to that person and you feel like there's some real worth in fixing it. But it's really hard because,
it is.
Rightfully so when hurt is involved. It's not something that you can just overnight forget about and think you can just move on. And but some of the tough parts about it is, let's just say people, because they have feelings, because they love you, they'll accept you in some cases, accept you back, after the offense. But in the process of that offense, then there's the whole common thing that happens commonly where it's like, well, you know what, you didn't say that when you was over there at Shei's house. Come on back over there. It's like every day it comes a reminder of the offense. And so that, although it's normal and we understand on both sides, but it doesn't help the relationship. It's like it's either the offense is too much for you to remain and you go on amicably, or if you decide to stay, you both have to work in a way that's going to be productive to rebuild it.
That's right. And I talk about that in the book because I heard Mike Todd, he said that trust is lost in buckets and earned back in drops.
Correct.
And I said a lot of people don't want to do the work of getting them drops back in their bucket.
Yeah.
Because it comes with a lot of accountability. You might not want to show your phone. You might want to call. Might not want to call and say where you are now. And so some people don't want that accountability that comes with building the trust back.
Yeah, because
you broke trust.
The drops take too long to fill the bucket up.
What you say, the drop? Oh, yeah, but that's how it is. Yeah, that's right.
The water spigot to turn to hurry but fill up, but it don't happen like that.
It does not happen like that.
And you just like, man. So I'll tell you another backdrop of how I think cheaters mentally in their minds, they justify what they do. So if you think about it like this, think about it from a perspective of, let's just say at home you got a platform bed that's low to the ground and you got hardwood floors, or a high bed, doesn't matter. In your mind, you're thinking, if I ever get too sleepy one night and I roll out, I would hate to just fall and hurt myself on that hard floor down there. So in your mind, the cheater says to themselves, let me come into my room, look at my bedroom, and let me line the entire floor up with pillows and pads. This is what's called padding, right? And so in your mind, you're padding this space to be a safe drop for you should you ever get disappointed, should you ever get hurt. It's cheating on top of cheating. Not only are you cheating, but you're cheating the process because you're saying,
Yeah.
I'm going to cheat, but at the same time, I'm going to reinforce it by making sure if this happens, this person is right here to fall comfortably on his down pillow. You understand what I'm
My
saying?
Lord. My
And so
Lord.
that right there robs you of the whole entire risk of love, period. The whole point is just to say, you know what, I met person A, and I'm just going to go ahead and we just going to be vulnerable and intentional and try it. Now that's in this day and time, that's a scary place to be because people can love you in the moment and then leave you
Mm.
in a minute. They'll love you in that
Mm.
moment, but people nowadays, we store things up in us. Meaning, we could be with you this weekend. I could be seeing you, Shei, for 90 days straight, and then on that 91st day, Carolyn calls me because she moved back to my hometown, and Carolyn is my real main love. And now I'm
Mm-mm.
on you because you were great for them 90 days, but I really love Carolyn. So
Mm-mm.
when
Don't come. Let me tell you something. Don't come to me. If you still
I'm
think
telling
about,
you, that's the selfish reality of how people
that's
will.
horrible.
They'll love you in the moment, but leave you in a minute. They'll be with you
That's
and be enjoying passing time with you and all that. But in their back of their mind, they know that you are not the choice. You are.
that's sad. That's why I say take your
Yeah,
time, because
yeah, for sure.
take your time. Don't rush into nothing, because you see what you're saying, and then
Yeah,
you beating, gave your heart and open your legs, and next thing you know, Carolyn Kyle or Chris Kyle, and you getting
yeah,
dropped.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
say, you know, to me, until you can give and receive love, you ain't ready to be back on the market.
That's it. Until
You're
you're
not
ready
ready to be back on the market.
to be fearless about being vulnerable and saying,
Yeah,
I'm here for the risk. That's when you are in
yeah,
position.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm okay to try it. If not,
yeah.
you just kind of out here and you just filling time and hanging out and having friends, but you're not really exposing yourself because you out here loving and date. Well, I won't even say loving. You're
Yeah,
existing in fear
yeah.
in the field of love, but you're just
That's
existing
right.
in fear. But
That's
you're not
right.
loving. You're just existing. Yeah,
Because you're not able to give because of your lack of trust and your wounds.
correct. Correct.
So do you think you read, since you went through all that, you say you had to sit down for a little while.
I had to sit on. I
Do
had to
you
get
do you trust
like at
yourself?
church. They make you sit down. I had to sit down. The Lord's like, you go sit over there for a season. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, but no, I mean, no, for sure. It's like I feel for me, I'm at a far better place than I was before because, like I said, I have a different perspective on how I see it, how I see vulnerability, and the rewards of it than what I used to. It used to absolutely frighten me after some things I had experienced to put myself in that position again. But again,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a person that loves love, then you have to
Mm-hmm.
be willing to take the risks. If not,
That's
you just
right.
waste your time and other person's time. Yeah.
That's right. So you trust yourself now. You don't learn from it. That does not interest you,
Well,
anymore like it did. It doesn't look
I'll
as.
tell you this: any man will come the best. Any man in this world will come the best version of himself when he understands and can control um, his discipline when it comes to the woman, to the opposite sex. A lot of
Yeah,
us,
I agree.
our entire worlds break down because we lack the discipline with the opposite sex. I don't care
That's
who
right.
church inside, what
Yeah,
profession,
you're right about that.
married or
That's
single.
right.
Yeah, we have a thing, and this is what I always tell people when they challenge me on this. I say, listen, if you guys don't think what I'm telling you is the truth, go to any barbershop and sit in there in that barbershop. You're going to see single men, married men, church men, all types of men. But you let a very attractive woman walk through there with her son, and all the men do like this. All of them. They all look.
Wow.
I've seen it on many occasions where they all turn that head and look because she's attractive. So that's
Yeah.
letting you know you're human and at any time you can make that decision to flip the script if you don't manage your integrity.
Yeah. And in the book I talk about 4 ways to protect your relationship. Because you know, when you open up your heart to the wrong person, if you naive to it, and you conversating with somebody, you making love to the mind.
Yeah.
And so even like I talk about how my pastor, he passed away. Whenever he did marriage counseling, he never counseled a woman alone.
Oh
Like
yeah, that's
he
smart.
protected, like he set up all the guards where the enemy can come in,
Yeah,
you know, to for
smart.
him to open his heart up to another woman now. And he counseled me before, and guess what? It was another man in there. You know, he wasn't in there by himself because
Yeah.
hey, that's just the truth. You making love to the man. You hearing they,
Well,
cry and hearing they
it's
story
dangerous.
and
It's dangerous for a man to be in a room when a woman is outpouring and becoming vulnerable.
or
Because
on the phone or in the DM.
he can be the most unattractive man in the world, but he'll reach over there and say, "It's going to be okay." Put that hand on your shoulder. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah,
certain
yeah.
words. All of a sudden, he looked like Denzel. So you flip the script, and you can't never trust it because it can't happen. Believe me, it will happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I think it's important that if you're watching and you got a good relationship, it's important to be careful, with those work husbands and work wives.
Yeah, for sure. Work, work out.
Um, your relationship is like a house, and you got to have boundaries. And if you don't think that it can happen to you, that means you don't even have boundaries set to stop it from showing up at your door,
Yeah,
because
because
it will show up at your door. Love will be tested,
yeah,
and
because
when it's tested, what you gonna do?
yeah, because if you think about it, it really is a lot to like. It's hard enough trying to maintain being content and at a good place with yourself. So you imagine
Yeah,
your spouse or your other person, and sometimes the stress that comes with making sure, is this person all right? Did I do enough? Did I tell them they look nice? Did I do this? Did I do something nice for them? Did I take them over there? Do I, it's a lot of checks and balances that if you miss a few of them, you run a risk
yeah,
that that person is out of your presence.
yeah,
And
yeah,
someone else will come in that moment. Hey, I saw you and I bought these flowers to your job just because. And you sitting there like, anything, it
yeah,
just,
yeah. Your work husband or your
yeah,
work
for sure.
wife.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just, I was coaching a client the other day. She was saying, I don't think I would ever, when I say that's good, but I say, but if you sit up in a situation where you're not being watered long enough, I
Yeah,
say you become dehydrated and you start making decisions from dehydration. So
yeah,
it's important, to have self love and to not allow yourself to be mistreated or sitting under mistreatment, for too long, because sitting under the wrong leadership or whatever situation over a period of time that's not adding to you or watering you, you become something that you never thought that you would be.
yeah. No, you're right.
Over time, your self-esteem is being broken, and here come Leroy, letting you know how beautiful you look. That's like, I don't even know. That sounds like just water to a sponge. You just soaking it up. That's like, you know,
Yeah. You
it
know, you
sounds so amazing when you
one of the things,
dehydrated.
yeah, one of the things that we do when I'm thinking about what you said about these four ways to what you say the four ways to
For ways to protect your relationship.
yeah. So here's the unofficial fifth way, right? The fifth
Okay,
way
come on, now talk to us.
is
Help us.
not we have to stop associating what we do with our members as love. Like love has nothing to do with somebody putting their Johnson out on a woman, opening up her legs.
Yeah,
It has nothing
you're
to do
right.
with that.
You're
The
right.
love part is
You're
built
right.
elsewhere. But
Yeah,
we come to the table looking for validation through these members, and we're
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
the connection with the members and make it appear that well, we all good here. I think I'm taking care of this person and they straight. Well, then they ought to love me. It doesn't work like that.
yeah.
The love
No,
part
not at
really
all.
takes place. The love part takes place with I mean, there's the comfort has to be there. People want to know there's a certain familiarity with the way you guys interact. Your spirits kind of kindred, so to speak, and the trust comes. Those are the things that builds the love. The sex and all those things. Those are just activities of expression down the line, right? Those are just expressions, but those aren't
Yeah,
things that we should govern as beacons of love. Sex isn't.
and that's why I
Yeah,
think a lot of women are getting hurt because they think that their mouth game is
yeah,
so on point, their sex game is so on point. All this is so on point that it's gonna stop him from cheating or whatever. And cheating don't have nothing to do with how good you look or a
not at
man being
all.
faithful to us. has nothing to do with how fine we are. That's his character or a woman's character, integrity, and it don't have nothing to do with. You can have a perfect body. Why you think Halle and
Yeah.
Beyonce, whoever, got cheated on because it has nothing to do with how good you look.
And think of it like this: you've never saw like, you know how we all say in our families we have our resident drug addict relative or somebody
Yeah,
that has been on drugs or whatever. But think
yeah,
about this: they're always chasing what? The next high. So
yeah. The next high.
if you relate that to cheating, it doesn't matter how good somebody's mouth game, sex is in the man's mind. He's thinking, yeah, my wife is phenomenal, but I'm looking for the next high. This is why the cheating.
Wow,
If he's looking,
wow,
he's saying to himself, certainly I can get better than that. So let me keep on looking and looking and looking, getting on IG and IG till I see that specific thought that I think can do that. And we keep on
wow.
looking and looking, and it has nothing to do with. It's an addict. Anything that you're addicted to, you're looking to the next level. You're not just looking to be consistent where you are. You're like, I need to explode this
Wow,
higher. It has to be, I'm an addict. I love this sex, so I need to
wow,
have this type of this I need to have like this phenomenal outburst of love with this person, and not just like this. The climax needs to be off the chain, and this is okay, but I need to really keep on searching until I get here. So that's why it's important
yeah.
to that side of you and make sure you're tempering off those lusts, because it can take
That's
you.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why we got to heal that broken part in us. Because
Yeah,
while he looking for the next high, we getting high off of the fact that we able to turn his attention from his wife.
yeah, that's it.
And we think we doing something and we feeling like we better than her. When all alone, he just feeding his lust. He just looking for somebody that's going to join in the game with him.
And the thing that's so crazy about that is some of those same women and men that sit on the other side of people that are in marriages, relationships, they'll play the game, but here's the oxymoron about it. They'll play the game, but then turn around and desire for you to give them what you already had that they messed up.
Wow.
They want you to
Yeah.
give it. They'll be like this with me, and you're like, huh? Like, you just now destroyed my house. We ain't gonna be like that. We just gonna be out here in the street. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't see you that way, but that's how
Yeah. Yeah.
you the way I was seeing my wife. But now it's like, look, if you want that, then desire that from someone that's unattached. We have to stop
Right.
being attracted to something that's trouble and problematic. That's where the
Yeah.
dysfunction comes in. Why can't you just be attracted to someone that's unattached? Because
That's right.
we're taught to think if somebody else don't want them or have them, they're not worth having. So we out here desiring things that are already in place elsewhere.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Right. So that's why we got to heal because then it won't look as attractive as it's looking. We thirsty. That's why it's looking good because
Yeah.
we thirsty. But that's not what's going to fill your thirst. You got to heal, heal your soul.
But then here's the other thing. Sometimes it's not even, we thirsty, all right, but sometimes it's plain old weaponizing. We using our body parts as weapons to get what we want. Somebody, like you said, there are some people that are out here in the game simply because they need the help. They want the extra help to pay their rent and their mortgage. They don't have it, or they struggle.
Wow.
Help pay my
Wow.
car note. Help me get this, that, and the other. So while the men is thinking,
Wow.
oh, she just crazy about me. No, she's committed to the game to get what she needs from you. So she's
Wow.
looking at it as a game, and you are looking at it like, yeah, she's sweating me. No, she's committed to taking from you. So she's
Wow.
playing her hand however she needs to get what she needs from you.
And the man don't know that? A
Sometimes,
man that's cheating don't know that?
you know what? Sometimes men's ego will overlook it. He'll know it internally, but his ego overlooks it because he doesn't want to accept the fact that he's not desired just for him. He don't want to accept the fact that the desire is not just for him. He don't want to entertain that this person is just pride. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Heal us, Lord. No, for real, heal us, Lord. Because like I say, at the end of the day, if you value monogamy, you got a good thing, please don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that's really out, the only thing you're gonna get from cheating is outside kids,
Yeah.
a STD eventually.
And or disrupted life. because your life
A
will get
disruptive,
disrupted.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lack of peace.
Yeah, for sure.
And the cycle just continues and continues, and you just
Yeah.
another body, another body, another body, and it's like, how long?
And then when you make a career of being the other woman or the other
My
man,
Lord.
it's hard to shift to be the man or woman. You end up all
Wow.
meeting people that have somebody, and because you become so regular with accommodating a person that's attached, it's easy for you to continue. I knew someone, a friend of mine, a friend of a friend
Wow.
that lived out in the Midwest. She had this friend that this particular person, all she dated was married men. She didn't date.
Mm.
It was like she, and then she would be in love with them, but go from one person.
Wow.
This would break down, and I would always say she's not a bad looking person. Why not get a normal guy? But then it was
Yeah.
another married guy again, a married guy. I was like, man. So she preferred these men. So you know me, and one day I had to ask her, and so I
Yeah.
said, "What is it that you desire about someone else's covenant?" And
Wow, Lord.
she said, it is, I like the fact that he is, she said, 9 times out of 10, he's a well-trained individual that knows how to take care of his lady. And she said, and the fact that he committed on that level is attractive to me. And I said, so guess what? No one is going to commit on that level to you if you continue to have this appetite. No guy's
That's
going to
right.
touch you with a 10-foot pole if you got any sense, if you're just in it for this. And so
Right.
she was crying, but I wasn't trying to be mean to her, but I was just trying to get it to her mind.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't the way. Doing this, you're not
Yeah,
going to
you're right.
getting yourself used for life and all your
Yeah,
good
you're
years
right.
because somebody that's rich, she got some money, or own a club, they got some money. So what? He has a wife too. So you
Right.
gotta look at it like
But
that.
like I say, that goes back to that validation. You feeling validated because you're able to take somebody who's committed, who
Yeah.
has a wife, and you getting his attention. So that's making you feel like, oh wow, I must be really something.
I could be in her shoes or more or better.
Yeah, I'm something if I can take his attention off of her when it's really brokenness,
Yeah.
attracted to brokenness,
Yeah.
you know? And so it ain't
So
gonna end well. It's
not
not
at
gonna
all.
end well.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage you to just love you and just know, your worth and that you're worthy, you're valuable simply because you exist, not because of who you attach to, not because of your title, simply because you exist. And I think once we learn that we're special
Yeah.
in and of ourselves, it's gonna take away our need to get it from unhealthy attachments and unhealthy situations.
And something else we don't do, speaking of like before you have that affair, people,
Yeah,
we don't think and count the cost. And that is because by the time we get to the point of considering the affair, we are so
yeah,
on in our emotions that our
yeah,
our common sense doesn't matter at that point. It's just
yeah,
somebody's willing to love me and take me out of my misery, so I'm going to comply. But
yeah.
if you really think about it, affairs is affairs are something. They just wreck lives. They mess up children.
They do.
Children out
They
here today
do.
that once upon a time had a decent family, but have been broken because somebody's husband strayed, somebody's wife strayed, and now
Wow.
as a result of something you thought was going to be good on the other side, it was so much brokenness in between. Divorce happened, and now the children are broken. So
Yeah,
that's a whole other side of it.
yeah. That's why I say the enemy, he'll never show you
Yeah,
your kids crying. Your
yeah,
kids crying because you ain't at home no more. He'll never show you your husband or your wife packing their clothes, walking to the car. He
yeah,
always show you the pleasure.
yeah.
He'll never show you the pain that's about to come
In the
from this
home.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he don't
And you
show
know
you
what?
that.
Here's
So
another thing you got to look at. If you're in covenant, this is just people that are in. If you're in covenant,
yeah,
you're finding yourself at the place of entertaining infidelity, or even if you're already in the throes of it and you may be in love with the other person, you got to look at it like this. And I told a friend this. I said, God never gives the robber the prize. So you got
yeah,
to look at the person that's aiding and abetting your infidelity as the robber, because they know that you're in covenant. They just don't care. So when you got
right,
to look at it like this, would God in turn bless that reunion? You got to think of it like,
right.
or will you just end up with this person as a long-term dirty companion? because it's not going to give the person the prize. And if you go off and ignore the voice off into the distance that you shouldn't, you usually learn sooner than later that you made the wrong decision. You know?
That's right. That's right. And see, that's why I sat down. I've been sitting, single for 4 years. I sat down and I say, baby, you need to sit down and heal because your picker is out.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
until you heal, baby, you're gonna be picking through your wound. You're gonna be picking through your pain is leading you. And so you
yeah,
need to sit down and heal and learn how to love you so that
yeah,
you know how to choose right. And then you know how to let go when it ain't right.
yeah,
And so I think that's very important. If you really going through and you just, struggling with some self-esteem and, you know, your worth, have some issues with self-worth, sit down and heal so that you can pick right.
yeah,
So you can break the cycle. So you know how to choose what healthy look like.
yeah,
And when you have standards, be ready for a lot more people to walk away
yeah.
and be okay with that.
Right.
Because it's a lot of broken, like I say, broken people looking for broken people.
Yeah.
So be
And,
willing to walk away when you take a stand for right, and he ain't trying to hear that. He looking for
yeah.
somebody who would just open their legs to him and open themselves to him.
And that's
Be
it.
okay with him leaving.
Right. And you got to look at it this way: just because you can doesn't mean you should. And sometimes we all have situations where we can say I can, but you doesn't mean
Yeah,
you should. So think
you're
about
right.
it. I don't have to do just because it's dangling in my inbox or wherever. I don't have to make the choice unless I'm up for that type of trouble, because there's some trouble associated with it. But you don't have to do it. We just choose to. A lot of times we choose to just say, well, I'm going to go ahead on in, and then we end up sorry, very sorry later. So try thinking about it
That's
on the
true.
front end and save yourself a lot of trouble.
That's true.
Yeah.
So before you had that affair, once again, know that.
Pause and consider. Yeah, consider
Yeah,
all of the latter actions that come as a result.
yeah.
Because it goes
Cons-
far. It goes far beyond. Um, Here's the other sad point that we didn't touch on, but
Go ahead.
people linger in affairs because they get accustomed to that feeling of someone putting them out of their emotional misery, and sort of
Yeah,
them live in la la land. It's like
yeah,
being
yeah, yeah,
in la la land, because you're doing it wrong. You're doing wrong. That person is married. You got a spouse, but because of the misery that you sit in emotionally, whoever comes along that kind of fits you perfectly like you want, and saying all the
yeah,
right things, look the right kind of way, give you the right kind of sex, you just like, just take me out of my misery. I'm here for it. And you just
yeah.
lay in this era for a long time. And sometimes people be in these things for years until they sort of come out of it and say, wow, I was a fool for a long time.
Right on the side, blocking your real husband
Yeah,
because you faithful to somebody else's husband.
yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
it's
wow,
women out here being faithful
people to
to
somebody
somebody else's
else.
husband.
It won't listen. They won't go out. They'll stay right in that house the
Yeah,
whole
they
week
being
and everything.
faithful.
While he going home doing action items,
Yeah,
while he's doing everything he's supposed to do as a husband and everything else.
yeah.
In prison. So
It's
yeah,
real. It's
yeah,
real.
yeah. You got to think about
So
it. Yeah, value. It's all about valuing. Value. Find, even if you're broken, if you're hurt or weak, something you can do to start to stir up the value in you. The
yeah,
value is what keeps you to say, you know what, I need to resurrect my standards and not accept this. Because nowadays, what's happening is cheating. Yeah, cheating has been around, and cheating will be cheating.
yeah.
But
It will be.
now is people are selling these colony ideas to people. It's like, now, come on, we can be a tribe. My wife understands, she understands, all four of them understand, so we can all help pay each other's bills and take care of one another. And I just tiptoe on eachbody's house and love on y'all, but we'll be one unit. But you know what I say to that? I guarantee you, if any woman gets approached with a man who tells you to come be a part of a tribe, you tell the man, okay, you be the one guy, and let me, you be you, and let me pick three other men. That tribe off the table real quick. It only
Right.
works for him, because men
Yeah,
know
you're
we're
right.
not trying to be having sword fights with no other men. We just wanted to be us and the other stuff. But when you flip it around on the man and say, oh,
Yeah.
bring in him and him too. Oh no, you
Yeah.
now you all kinds of H's and all kind of names because
Yeah.
that you thinking like that. But he expect you to accept it. So you got to look at
Yeah,
it like this. Nobody's not doing all that.
that's right.
Either you can discipline yourself to deal with one or deal with none. So
Come
period.
on now.
Right.
And it starts with how we see ourselves as women. And I encourage you to learn how to give yourself what you feel like. Like, learn how to give yourself that same feeling that you feel like you get from him or that
Mm,
you can't have without him. Learn how to give it to yourself.
yeah.
Start loving on you. Start doing, love you. Make
Yeah.
time for you. Speak life into you.
Yeah.
Be there for you. And sometimes it takes you learning because sometimes we don't know, especially when we don't have a healthy relationship with us. We don't know. Dang, what
Yeah.
do I really
Looks
like? What
like
do I?
it should be like.
But
Yeah.
start trying new things. Go paint. Go to paint with a twist by yourself. Go, take yourself on a date.
Yeah.
Polish your own toes. You can't afford the nail shop. You ain't got to have money from a man. You
Right.
might have to give up the spa
Some things. Yeah.
treatment.
That's good stuff. No, for real.
Polish your own nails, man. You
Yeah.
know, and put your own music on. Do paint with a twist at your house if you
Right.
can't afford it.
Right.
If
Right.
you lost your supplier.
Yeah.
You got a father in heaven who will supply your every need. You just got to be
Right.
willing to let go of the
And be
stuff that's
patient.
blocking your blessing. Yeah,
Yeah. Because half of that stuff is mainly material anyway. It's just stuff that
yeah,
kind of feeds your validation system of what
yeah, yeah,
you're justified to have, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to give up for a little while in order to gain. What Fan
Yeah.
said, say sometimes you
You
gotta
gotta
lose
lose to
to
win again.
win again.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta lose, but the truth of the matter is sometimes you ain't losing nothing.
Yeah. But you
What you
know what?
losing? Pain, rejection.
The Shay, let me say this to you. She like, don't be time speaking to me. No, I'm
Oh,
just telling you.
go ahead,
Listen, no, I
talk
was
to
gonna say
me.
this. You know what I had learned some time ago when I was finding myself kind of like saying, is it me? Like maybe it's me, or like why do I kind of self-sabotage? Why do I kind of find myself being in the relationship, being engaged, and then finding myself unplugging and feeling disengaged? Why? And so
Mm,
one day I'm gonna tell you what I did, and it kind of changed my thought process about it. I Googled how to love a creative person. And
mm.
I don't think that exists. But the reason why I brought that up because you and I are artists, recording artists, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
creative people think differently. Their mind
Mm,
conceives things, and even the way they process. Sometimes you get restless at night, all sorts of things because you are being fed a lot. And when you're being fed a lot,
mm-hmm,
it's a little different than the normal. Not saying there's nothing wrong
mm-hmm.
with anybody else, but creative people have
Yeah,
different issues with them, a lot of issues sometimes. And so sometimes you have to be able to be educated to love a person like that. You got to kind of understand who they are, because if not, people will be more times than not frustrated with you, mad. You're not
mm-hmm,
doing what the normal person does. You should be acting
mm.
like this. How come you don't do this? You don't do this because I'm not wired like that. So just
Yeah,
like the word says for the man to dwell according to knowledge with the woman,
yeah,
it's the same concept. If you have to learn the person that you're with in order to earn them, you got to learn who they are, the things about
yeah,
them, and
yeah,
outside of just the surface of them being nice looking or whatever they have attached to them materially. It's more to a person than that. And if you want to get into the inside and to the deep side of a person, you have to avail yourself by way of knowledge. That's how
yeah,
you get comfortable with a person like that. But yeah, I mean, and overall, from this whole conversation, we have to learn. It's important. I'm speaking to the cheaters out there. It's
yeah,
important to the offender to retain the lesson from the offense. If you don't
yeah,
retain the lesson from the offense, you'll keep cheating over and over again. You have to
yeah,
understand why you're doing this. Why are you letting yourself break down, or why you're not loving yourself enough to keep doing this? Because it's still a sign of a lack of self-love for the cheater.
yeah,
Why are you doing this and stuff? You're more to yourself than just a meat market, just
yeah,
meat
yeah.
shop. There's more to you than that. But it takes time for us to get to that place to evolve,
That's true. That's true. And I say, how long? How long? The some what have to happen for you to stop? You don't want to have to catch some or make another baby.
Yeah, or
To be that
something
awakening, the
tragic
defining
happens.
moment. Like
Yeah,
sometimes, some people want to put their hand on the stove. They don't want to hear you when you say, "Don't touch it. It's hot." They
yeah,
want to see for themselves.
yeah,
But we just putting it out there. We can't make you, you know,
yeah,
do nothing. Because I wasn't trying to hear it, myself when I was in the middle.
Yeah.
But maybe if I would have seen a video like this, I would have
Yeah.
been like, okay. But it really wasn't nothing. I don't know, babe.
No,
I
really,
was
yeah. You
I
probably
was
wouldn't even
something
look.
else.
Listen, when you in it,
You
you're not
right.
even looking for it. You
Yeah,
don't want
you
to hear.
right.
One
I
thing we
wasn't
don't
trying to
want to
hear
hear
it.
is
Yeah,
when
you
you in
right.
error, you don't want to hear the truth at
You
all.
right.
It really do hurt. You don't want to hear it when you really
Especially if you got a
trying to
good looking
justify.
woman, a man that's right there calling you and texting you and they giving you that high.
Yeah,
Oh,
you don't want.
you ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah,
But it,
it's a dysfunction IV being fed into us.
yeah,
That IV that
yeah,
we like to live off of. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah,
yeah, it ain't worth it.
it's
But
good.
y'all, if it's you, I know you can't say this me you talking to.
Yeah,
But get the book and just,
yeah,
get it in your spirit before you had that affair. I think it's $2.99, about
yeah.
12, 15 pages long, and just, hear from, what I have to say about what I learned and, you know,
That's good. I'm gonna support it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you
I
got to
appreciate that.
put the you should when you get a chance put the link to the book in the comments.
It's in the description, I
Oh,
believe.
okay, got it.
I
Okay,
believe
yeah,
it's in the description. So just click on it's on Amazon Kindle.
okay,
Ebook, short read, just putting some,
yeah,
in your spirit to help, that ain't what you want if
okay,
you
yeah,
value
you know,
monogamy.
yeah. That's the key word.
Yeah, that ain't
Monogamous.
what you want. If you value monogamy and you got a good thing,
Yeah,
that ain't what you want because you're gonna lose it out behind something that ain't gonna be here a year, 6 months, 3 months from now.
and you know what we're doing? We're allowing our pain to convince us to go against monogamy. People have been hurt so much that they're like, you know what? I'm
Yeah,
not willing to. I'm tired of that road. But here's the point:
yeah, yeah,
when
yeah,
you get to
yeah,
that point where you're trying to have the argument between monogamy or the opposite, you have to
yeah,
say to yourself, why? What part am I willing to own in my hurt? Because that's the
yeah.
problem.
Come on now.
You don't want to own there was a part that you played, irregardless
Yeah,
if you think the person cheated or not. 9 times out of 10, if this is happening over and over and over again, maybe you're not doing a specific action to tell somebody to go and do this and this and this to you. But if it's happening over and over again, rest assured there is something that you are ignoring and allowing. That's why
wow.
it's happening. So you have to be willing to own up and say,
Yeah, yeah,
Negroes with some trash. Why? You chose them because
yeah.
we can't get you unless you let us, right? And so if you let
Wow.
us, if you keep overlooking the things you should not overlook, you got to take some
Yeah,
ownership and stop being mad
yeah,
and just try to do
yeah,
better with your choices the next time. But going over
yeah.
to the colonies ain't the answer.
You
So
right, you right, because that's just that you done just gave up all hope.
yeah, that's what happens. People get mad,
Yeah,
they just wanna quit and going over there like I'm done. I'm you know what I can
yeah,
do this. But no, that'll lead you. That'll really what you don't want to do for a person who ultimately knows that they want to be married or want to be in covenant or however you justify it. The more you live this life of lasciviousness, the more number you become
yeah. You're
to
right.
proper love and proper emotion. You become
That's
this
right.
callous individual that people could be doing all sorts of great gestures for you and to you.
Yeah,
You don't even acknowledge them because you like, what? That I don't recognize though that I recognize all this ugly stuff. What you
yeah.
doing
Pain.
from what I'm used to. So
Yeah,
I'm staying doing me in this life. So that's why
yeah.
it pays to break that cycle so that you
You're
can.
right.
It's almost like you saying if somebody was, let's just say if you ironing every day, you're ironing your clothes, so you burn yourself for like a good 90 days, and you keep having these burns in the 91st days, it don't hurt no more because your
Wow,
skin is accustomed to that
wow,
pain. So that's
wow.
what's happening in this world. When we get hurt, we so accustomed to this bad behavior that now we can go on over there and be open marriage, open relationship because it's like, oh well, I'm numb, I don't care anyway. So let me just
That's
do that.
right.
So that's the wrong
Yeah.
mindset to have, you know.
You're right, and you touched on what I was going to say. And just heal to the point when God does bless you, which He will.
Yeah,
If you heal and wait on Him, so you won't sabotage it, and you
right.
won't be thinking, "What is something to this?" You don't even know how to accept real love now because you don't even believe it's real.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's something to this. You got to be able to receive when God sent it to you. You ain't gonna be able to receive it when you ain't healed enough to give and receive love.
yeah.
So heal.
And that's the part we forget about it. We want so much, but we have to be honest and say, am I in the right place to receive it? Or
Come on,
will I destroy it? If he gives it to me
come
now,
on.
likely
Yeah.
I would likely destroy it because if I'm honest with myself, yeah, I may say I want somebody and I need somebody in my life, but are you in a healthy enough, wholesome place to
Come on.
bring that to nurture that blessing, or will you
Come on.
sabotage it and tear it apart? So you got to ask
Tear it
yourself,
apart and push it away because you feel like
right,
it ain't real.
right, that's it. Well, this is
So
good. This is perfect time.
yeah.
We right here at the top of the hour.
We
This is
right here.
great.
That's right.
Great,
That's
great
it.
time management. This is good.
That's right. That was real
Yeah.
good.
All
So
right.
I thank y'all for tuning. I thank you so much for having this dialogue with me.
No
I
problem.
really appreciate it. Keep on pushing and
Yeah.
thank you
We,
so much.
we can do this again in the future. We keep going. We can figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Holla at me. If
All
you
right.
need me, I'm there.
All right.
So thank y'all for
Appreciate you all for
tuning
tuning
in.
in too. Yes.
I hope we said something that,
Helps you
was a blessing to you.
for sure.
So thank y'all. God bless y'all.
All right.
Love y'all.
Take care.
Talk
All
to
right.
y'all later.
Take care.
Bye.